Another political battle, another state versus central battle, another battle between the BJP and the Shiv Sena that has turned ugly, and how. And it's the members of the ruling party in Maharashtra who seem to be creating havoc across the state over a comment made by a union minister. Union Minister Narayan Rane, who participated in the Jan Ashirwad Yatra in Raigad, and while addressing this Yatra in Raigad, he actually said that Uddhav Thackeray didn't even remember the year of independence when there was a point that came in. He actually turned and asked somebody, how could he not know the year of independence? If it was me, if I was there, I would have slapped him. It's the slap Chief Minister comment that became the big controversy. And Shiv Senics across the state became so angry that it didn't matter what came in their way. They weren't simply protesting. They weren't simply gathering outside BJP's offices and protesting or objecting to this comment being made. They simply didn't say, oh, what a shameful comment. They took matter in their own hands. There were clashes, ugly clashes. There was vandalism. There were reports of stone pelting. There are reports of BJP workers, corporators being beaten up. And finally, after multiple FIRs got filed, 4 FIRs the last time I checked, the Maharashtra police actually moved to arrest Narayan Rane. His side was no less. His own sons went inside the police station, sat on a dharna. When the police went to arrest him, his aides blocked the way. They wouldn't let the police enter. They created a big tamasha about how they can't come in, how he's eating food, we won't let you do this. The sons then went inside the police station, sat on the floor and started demanding question after question after question from the policemen. The police there didn't know what to do. This is how politics is playing out in Maharashtra right now. And look at the scenes that we witnessed in many parts of Maharashtra. From outside Narayan Rane's residence in Mumbai, where clashes took place between the Shiv Sena and the BJP, to several other places. Now, is this going to be the next big tipping point? Another big face-off between the state and the centre. Often it's West Bengal which is locking horns in such a way with the centre. Maharashtra has had its own set of issues since the time BJP and Sena split and Sena went into an alliance with the NCP and the Congress party. There can be no denying the fact that this action is linked to that politics. What happens next is the big question. A union minister has been arrested by the state police. I say good evening to Atul Shah, spokesperson for Maharashtra BJP, Sheetal Matre, spokesperson for Shiv Sena, Ketan Vaidya, political analyst, and Rohit Chandavarkar, senior journalist, also joining me. Mr. Chandavarkar, let's start off with you. It is unprecedented. Of course, there's a lot of history here, maybe to put it in perspective for the national audience, who Narayan Rane is, where he comes from, and the way the Sena seems to have reacted to his comment now.
Well, Tanvi, we have known Narayan Rane for more than 25, 30 years now. He comes from that firebrand culture of Shiv Sena, the street fighters of Mumbai as we know them. And he's been a Shiv Sena person for more than 39 years, as he keeps reminding everybody, before he crossed over to the Congress. And then later, of course, he is now part of BJP. Narayan Rane belongs to that aggressive culture of politics in Mumbai on which Shiv Sena itself has thrived for many years. And he fell apart with Uddhav Thackeray and even before that with Bharatiya Janta Party himself over him not being made, the top politician, top position holder in Maharashtra. That position was given initially to Manohar Joshi. Later, of course, only for 6 months, Narayan Rane was made the chief minister. But after that, he's fallen apart with Shiv Sena. Now, of course, Rane carries that firebrand street fighter culture with him. and he's part of the BJP in the last cabinet expansion or the latest cabinet expansion that we saw in Delhi of the Modi government. You must have seen that Narayan Rane was given the top position in the swearing-in ceremony. He was the top person to be sworn in, the senior most respected by Amit Shah and others. Mainly because they now obviously want to use Narayan Rane's aggression against the Shiv Sena in the municipal elections that are coming up in the next 4 or 5 months in Maharashtra. Remember, Mumbai is the core place for Shiv Sena, and BMC, Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, happens to be the place that Shiv Sena wants to hold on to no matter what. And Rane being a Mumbai person, BJP's best bet right now to counter Shiv Sena in Mumbai and Maharashtra is Narayan Rane. So what you see right now is maybe a precursor. You asked a very good question. What is going to come? What is going to happen? I think this is the beginning of a long-drawn political war that you will see in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Battleground is prepared. This is the first salvo that Shiv Sena has fired. It seems that the Chief Minister himself was monitoring the situation, and one of the Shiv Sena prominent minister, Anil Parab, was seen today on camera speaking to the police officers, asking them why Rane has not been arrested so far and why they are not acting swiftly. So it is clear that it's a political move by Shiv Sena. Obviously, BJP is going to hit back, center is going to hit back, and it's only for us to wait and watch what kind of drama will unfold now. But remember, the last thing I want to say, or the first thing everybody should remember, is this is a precursor to the Mumbai municipal election war, if I may call it, between the Shiv Sena and BJP. Shiv Sena has been in power for more than 30 years in the Mumbai Municipal Corporation. That is their core, that is their heart, and the BJP is now countering them in India's financial capital, Tanvi.
Okay, you've actually raised a very important point, which is what I wanted to highlight to our viewers. It has to be seen in context to, the next battleground here in Maharashtra, starting with the Mumbai civic body, and the other elections that come through. Sheetal Matre, is that what it is? You are, so nervous of a challenge that Narayan Rane and BJP may put up there that you've just decided to do this?
नारायण राणे शिवसेना को चैलेंज दे, इतने नारायण राणे जी बड़े नहीं है। पहली बात तो ऐसे है कि माननीय हमारे जो उद्धव जी ठाकरे हैं वो बहुत ही सॉफ्ट स्पोकन है, बहुत ज़्यादा एग्रेसिव नहीं है, फिर भी हमेशा वो सुशांत सिंह राजपूत से लेके नारायण राणे जी ने हमेशा शिवसेना को, आदित्य जी को, मातोश्री को, उद्धव जी को टारगेट किया है। और मुझे लगता है कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी जो अपने पीएम है, उन्होंने भी कहा था बीच में कि भाई मुख्यमंत्री कोई भी पार्टी के होने दो, उनके बारे में बुरा नहीं बोलना है। देखिए, डिफरेंसेस रहते हैं पॉलिटिक्स में, आप बात भी कर सकते हैं, करने भी चाहिए, लेकिन उसके लिए एक लेवल रहता है। अगर लेवल छोड़ के कोई भी बात करेगा तो एक्शन के ऊपर रिएक्शन जरूर आएगी। और पिछले 2 साल से, 1.5 साल से हम चुपचाप सुन रहे थे। उनका जन आशीर्वाद, पता नहीं वो जन आशीर्वाद यात्रा है या जो भी है, वो उन्होंने शुरू किया और उनका एक ही एजेंडा था कि शिवसेना के बारे में बुरा बोलना, उद्धव जी के बारे में बुरा बोलना। और मुझे लगता है इसको कभी ना कभी एक्शन को रिएक्शन शिव सैनिक जरूर देंगे। और जो भी हुआ है वो लॉफुली हुआ है, और जिस तरीके से पुलिस ने जाके उनको पकड़ा है।
तो मुझे ये बताइए, अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि नारायण राणे इतने बड़े भी नहीं, इतने इम्पोर्टेंट भी नहीं दैट शिवसेना को उनसे कोई थ्रेट हो, तो फिर ये करने की क्या जरूरत है? फिर क्या फर्क पड़ता है कि वो क्या बोल रहे हैं? अगर चीफ मिनिस्टर की एक रेपुटेशन है, एक इमेज है, व्हाई डू यू केयर देन व्हाट नारायण राणे सेज?
मैडम, उन्होंने क्या बोला था कि मैं उनको स्लैप करूंगा, आई विल स्लैप हिम। अगर कोई भी ऐसे ये लेवल पे बात करेगा तो क्या रिएक्शन होना चाहिए? देखिए, पॉलिटिकली आप बोल सकते हैं कि भाई उन्होंने ये काम नहीं किया, वो काम नहीं किया, वो चीज ठीक है, लेकिन अगर कोई इस तरीके से बात करेगा कि मैं उनके कान के नीचे मारूंगा, तो मुझे लगता है कि उसके ऊपर जरूर रिएक्शन जरूर आएगा।
यस, अतुल शाह, Is this the kind of language commentary that a union minister should be using to begin with? Let's start with that. We'll get to the politics in just a bit.
See, we don't subscribe to what the statement was made. But at the same time, the way Shiv Sena is handling the situation, the revengeful politics they have adhered to will not be tolerated. You know, she's talking, Sheetal ji, she's colleague with me in my corporation. She's talking about the style, and Narayan Rane has got such style and he speaks that way. It's not a crime. He should have not said this, but the way the Jan Ashirwad Yatra is getting the response all over Maharashtra, especially the places where Narayan Rane, the Shiv Sena is really shattered. Shiv Sena is shaken up. They got a point. I will like to remember, make Sheetal ji remember about several things. Sanjay Raut writes about this in Samna. Even the Chief Minister, I don't know, because these are constitutional posts, everyone has to be responsible in this. But this is not an for such a small statement. If you could arrest him and take revenge, this is a revengeful politics which has been adhered by Shiv Sena, and we will support Mr. Rane, but we don't subscribe to that statement of slapping. But we are solidly behind Narayan Rane ji. He's a union minister, and he's been traveling all across Konkan, and the way the response is got, and they have been filing FIR after FIR for COVID, for these, they can do anything. But when Mr. Rane does it, then it is not okay for them. So there should be some discipline in the statement, I agree. But at the same time, there should be a politics, not of revenge, but you fight elections, but not this Shiv Sena style. What do you mean by Shiv Sena style? People will not accept this style. We also want to create an amicable atmosphere, but not at the cost of our leaders being unnecessarily arrested or harassed by the police. And here, as Mr. Chandrawalkar said in the beginning, yes, the minister is asking the police to arrest him. What for? Police will take its own action. Police will do its own job. But and here we see Anil Parabji, telling to the police that you should arrest him. This is very, this is no good. It's very shameful act by this government.
Yes, Sheetal Matre, do respond to what is being said by Atul Shah, that okay, his comments may not be right, but what is this Shiv Sena style of handling things?
अतुल जी, जिस तरीके से नारायण जी ने बात की उद्धव जी के बारे में, उसको आप सपोर्ट करते हैं?
नहीं, उन्होंने बोल दिया कि वो सपोर्ट नहीं करते हैं, उनको नहीं बोलना चाहिए था,
पर
उनको जेल भेजना, मारपीट करना, ऑफिस के बाहर पत्थरबाजी करना, बीजेपी के ऑफिस को में तोड़ताड़ करना, उनको इस तरीके से उठा के ले जाना, एलिगेशन बीजेपी का, उनको हैरेस किया जा रहा है। नारायण राणे जी के बेटे बैठे हैं पुलिस स्टेशन में, उनको कोई कुछ बता नहीं रहा क्या हो रहा है, क्या चार्ज है, ये सब पे सवाल उठाया जा रहा है।
जब भी ये सब चीजें चल रही थी, तभी सुबह नारायण राणे जी ने बताया था कि भाई मैं कोई कॉमन आदमी नहीं हूँ, आई एम स्पेशल, मैं अलग हूँ, तो मेरे ऊपर ऐसे कार्रवाई नहीं हो सकती। तो मुझे कहना चाहूंगी, नहीं सर है, आप चाहिए तो आप मीडिया में देख सकते हैं, उन्होंने कहा है, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहा है। तो मुझे लगता है कि देखिए, आपके सामने सभी जन सेम है, तो ये आप बोल रहे हैं कि मैं अलग हूं, तो ये कोई अलग नहीं है। अगर आप गुनाह करेंगे, अगर आप इस तरीके से बात करेंगे, तो आप कायदे के सामने आप सब समान हैं। यही बात बताने की पुलिस ने कोशिश की है। और जिस तरीके से आपने पूरा वहां पे जब भी पुलिस अरेस्ट करने को आई थी, तभी जिस तरीके से रिएक्ट हुए उनके लड़के, तो मुझे लगता है कि पुलिस बहुत शांति से बात कर रही थी, और फिर भी जैसे आपने रिएक्ट किया। और आपका कहना है अतुल जी कि हम रिएक्ट ही ना करें, हम शांति से बैठे रहे। आप बताइए।
Even that arrest was handled was not okay. He was having his food. He was suffering. He had some BP problem.
आप शांति से वीडियो देखिए,
रिकॉर्ड है,
शांति से बात कर रहे हैं और चिल्ला रहे हैं उनके बेटे चिल्ला
वहाँ
रहे
के
हैं,
जो
तो
डॉक्टर
उनको बिल्कुल खींचा नहीं गया, कुछ भी किया नहीं। देखिए, अभी बोलने के लिए तो बहुत सारी चीजें, लेकिन हम उसमें नहीं जाएंगे। जो भी पुलिस को सही लग रहा है वो जरूर होगा और वो होके ही रहेगा।
Theatrics have happened from both ends. I just want to point this out, and I think now many political parties, Ketan Vaidya, have learned the trick of using mobile phones, selectively recording and releasing this. Obviously, it was a trick to do this dharna inside the police station. They're saying it, इसको record करो, Facebook पे live जाओ, हम ये सवाल पुलिस से पूछेंगे. The part where the police enters to detain Narayan Rane, and I think the medical checkup is already going on, because in the visual you can see there is a somebody with a medical surgical mask on, and then everybody starts saying no, he's eating food, don't come here, don't do anything. All of this is also posturing, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's not only the BJP who's master at these tricks. It appears that all the parties have somehow mastered the art of using social media to their advantage. I see many more contours of this problem, because it's clearly a fight of political one-upmanship between the Sena and the MVA government on one side and BJP on the other side. The another interesting this thing of the mannerisms, if one says, then Uddhav Thackeray, incidentally, is a mild-mannered leader of an aggressive party. And in an irony of sort, Narayan Rane, despite he left Shiv Sena in 2005, then joined many parties. Even 16 years after leaving the Sena, the DNA of Narayan Rane is of that common Sainik, who's aggressive, who wants to behave in a Sainik fashion. And what had happened in the last 1.5 years of MVA's existence is that Sena couldn't find its mojo. Its mojo is street fights. Its mojo is using its lumpen leaders to unleash such fights. And so I'm sure that the Sena leadership will use this to their advantage to regain their mojo and to come out of the shadow of Congress and NCP that it is accused to be. And after they parted ways with BJP, there is this whole thing about the
I'm now
Hindutva
confused,
guilt.
because if they're going to stick to that old image of theirs, and if they're going to resort to the same old strategy of danga on the streets, but Sheetal Matre here is sitting and saying how their chief minister is so polite, how he is so mild and a calm person. That doesn't go. Which one am I supposed to see as a voter then, Ketan Vaidya?
I think more than a voter, I mean, see, this is a battle that is playing at two levels, okay? One is, of course, MVA versus the BJP at the center, who allegedly, according to the MVA spokesperson, uses agencies, central agencies to its advantage. Look what happened to the former Home Minister Anil Deshmukh and other people. So one battle will play at the central level. The second battle before six months before the BSc election is bound to be fought on the streets, because I can use the word hired firepower. So taking Rane on their side, BJP thought that they will take hired firepower to take on the Sena. The Sena wants to answer in its own coin, and hence you will see that in the next 10-15 days that there will be a political battle and it will be fought on the streets. It's not a matter whether I support it or not. I'm just looking at as the way things are unleashing in Maharashtra.
Mr. Chandavarkar, is this again an example of the Shiv Sena also not knowing which should be their big overarching image and strategy? Does it still have to be what they've done for the last 20 years, or do they want it to be different anymore?
Well, Tanvi, nobody expected Uddhav Thackeray to become the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, right? I mean, 2019 elections were so confusing in the state assembly. BJP emerged as the largest single party, and we all know what happened. Let's not spend time discussing that. We know what happened. Nobody thought Uddhav Thackeray will be the top politician, Shiv Sena leader and Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Now Uddhav faces a dilemma, I feel, that his image has been that of a sober person who's interested in photography, who travels quite a lot, who reads, writes and does things. A very mild-mannered person who is now heading an organization which is known for its muscle power and its street fights and its strong arm tactic all over Mumbai and Maharashtra. Now he wants to counter that image. He wants to perhaps show the world that he can be tough with the tough person like Narayan Rane. He can answer Narayan Rane the way Bal Thackeray would have done, perhaps. So Uddhav is, I think, now playing, both the roles. On one hand, he wants to show the people of Maharashtra that he's a sensible, mild-mannered, educated, good, cultured, sophisticated kind of a person, urban person, leader. Look at his attire, look at his, way he speaks and all those things. At the same time, when the elections are up, 5 months down the line, he also wants to send a big message to his cadre, his Shiv Sainiks, as they call them, that he can be tough. He can be as aggressive as anybody else in Shiv Sena. And mind you, particularly when Shiv Sena deals with people who have left the Sena earlier, for instance, Chhagan Bhujbal or somebody like Narayan Rane, somehow the aggression comes out very wildly. And that's what you see happening now. So it's a complicated question. I think, it's very interesting to watch this and kind of analyze this. What is going through Uddhav Thackeray's mind? On the one hand, he wants to win Mumbai Municipal Corporation at any cost because that is their base, that is their core base. On the other hand, he also wants to head Maharashtra and handle COVID and other things, and give an image that he also is a sophisticated, urban, middle-aged kind of a leader. So,
Yes.
so it's let's see how it plays out.
A calm, peaceful, mild leader who urban, progressive, looking at the issues, surrounded by ministers who may be wanting to bring about a lot more changes in the way governance is done. Sheetal Matre, is that the message? Or is the message is that you say one word to our chief minister, we're going to lock you all up, round you up, harass you, beat you and put you behind jail?
मैडम कैसे है, अभी बीजेपी का टैगलाइन है पार्टी विद द डिफरेंस. ये बीजेपी है, दिस इज द पार्टी विद डिफरेंस. क्या है ना, बीजेपी में सच बताऊं मैम, बीजेपी है ना शिवसेना को मिस कर रही है. इसलिए उन्होंने लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन बनाया दरेकर जी को, अभी लिया नारायण राणे जी को, और जो शिवसेना हमेशा करती है वो करना चाहती है बीजेपी, लेकिन वो करने वाला उनके पास कोई नहीं है. इसलिए वो जन आशीर्वाद का उन्होंने जो शुरुआत की वो भी बाला साहब ठाकरे जी को, नारायण राणे जी उनके समाधि पे जाके फूल चढ़ा के की. क्यों भाई, बीजेपी में कोई लीडर नहीं है जिनको वो नमस्कार करके ये चालू कर सकते हैं? और 8 दिन के अंदर उन्होंने उनके ही बेटे को कान के नीचे मारूंगा ऐसे कहा. पार्टी विद द डिफरेंस. वाओ, वेरी गुड, वेरी नाइस. मुझे लगता है कि इनके पीछे ये जो नारायण राणे जी है उनके पीछे, इन्होंने 2 दिन पहले बोला था फडणवीस जी को, 2 हफ्ते पहले बोला था फडणवीस से, ए जरा शांत बस रहे, आप चुप बैठिए, मैं बात कर रहा हूं. तो मुझे लगता है ये कुछ जो हो रहा है कि बीजेपी उनके पीछे जा रही है, जिस तरीके से जा रही है, वो जो पुराने बीजेपी के जो लोग हैं उनको वो नहीं जम रहा है. तो जिस तरीके से वो रिएक्ट कर रहे हैं, ये मुझे नहीं लगता है ये बीजेपी के किसी भी सीनियर लीडर को अच्छा लगेगा, क्योंकि अभी तक उनको बचाने के लिए ना आशीष शेलार जी गए हैं, ना फडणवीस जी गए हैं, ना दरेकर गए. छोटी चीज के लिए तीनों भाग जाते हैं. और अभी तक
बीजेपी ने कह दिया, बीजेपी ने ये कहा. ओके, व्हाट द पॉइंट दैट यू आर मेकिंग इज नोबडी इज स्ट्रांगली कमिंग टू द डिफेंस ऑफ Narayan Rane. Even Fadnavis's first tweet, Mr. Atul Shah, was to say, well, it's not right what he said.
No.
It's the second follow-up tweet a few hours ago where he spoken about this is Shiv Sena style of Hindutva.
No, it's not like that. We are always behind our leaders, whoever it is. Yes, indeed, we are a party with a difference. The whole country knows about it. And looking at the performance of Maharashtra government these days, the Mahavasuli Agadi, as it seems now, Anil Deshmukh has been absconding, the minister, the Vazia incident, all these things have all, come together, and people have started asserting, and people have started joining with the Narayan Rane's Yatra. So this is not tolerated to Shiv Sena. So they've taken up just one that statement. That also we don't subscribe. This shouldn't have happened. But for just one statement, you must have been umpteen of number times. Even Uddhav Thackeray ji, even Sanjay Raut ji, everyone has spoken very loosely. But I am not on that. You are right. Yes, Madam Chitan Mataji, we are a party with different. Everyone who joins the party stands with them. And we will see that we solidly be behind the leader of whoever is in our party, whether it's Thackeray or whether it's Narayan Rane, whoever has joined our party is a party member. So you have not to be worried about that. We will be with them. And we certainly, Bharatiya Janta Party, people know how Bharatiya Janta Party works and how the MVA has given its performance in the last 2 years. You may give any image of the Chief Minister, but the way the MVA has performed, people are fed up of this MVA government, which is also known as not Mahavikas Agadi, but Mahavasuli Agadi, with 100 crore scam, this, that, every now and then. And for some or the other reason, Anil Deshmukh, you should arrest Anil Deshmukh. Where is he absconding?
I'm sure ED will find soon. I'm sure ED will find him very soon now. I'm sure he will. Yes, Sheetal Matre can respond to it before I go across to Mr. Chandavarkar again. Yeah.
मैडम, कुछ दिन पहले जब भी दरेकर जी बीजेपी में नहीं थे तो वो बहुत बड़े क्रिमिनल थे, उन्होंने बैंक का बहुत सारा पैसा खाया, फिर बाद में वो उनके पार्टी में आ गए, वो पावन हो गए. उसके बाद जब भी नारायण राणे जी, तो ये सबसे बड़े गुंडे थे, जो सीएम एक्स सीएम है फडणवीस जी, उन्होंने बोला है ये सब चीजें हाउस में, और अभी वो उनके पास आ गए तो उनके बड़े लीडर हो गए. भाई क्या चल रहा है? ये शिवसेना बीजेपी नहीं, ये तो गंगा हो गई कि जाके डुबकी मारो और पावन हो जाओ. तो जो भी गुंडे हैं, जहां पहले वो गुंडे रहते थे, दूसरे पार्टी में रहे तभी, और उनके पार्टी में आके वो लीडर हो जाते हैं, पावन हो जाते हैं, उनके सब पाप, उनके सब जो भी वसूली के जो चीजें हैं वो सब धुल जाते हैं और वो पावन हो जाते हैं.
वो ठीक है, वो तो आप सही कह रहे हो. तब तो आप भी इनके दोस्त थे, तब तो आप भी इनके एलाइज थे, सालों तक आप भी इनके एलाइज रहे. वो तो अभी न्यू रियलाइजेशन हो रहा है बीजेपी को that your style of politics is not a good style of politics. Very quickly, one thing that I wanted to highlight, Mr. Chandavarkar, to you, this was one of those cases where a lot of, एक जो कहते हैं माहौल बना दिया, a lot of drama was created even before the arrest. I mean, the police announced their intention in the morning itself, saying we are going to send a team, from Nasik to Ratnagiri to detain him and to get him. Why is that? What is the message that they are trying to send? Again, does it boil down to the next round of elections?
Excellent question, and I think two things I want to say here. One is that look at any government. They want, what do they want to do? They want to create examples. In the previous government of Devendra Fadnavis, you saw a prominent NCP leader, Chhagan Bhujbal, being accused of certain scams and all of that, and he spent more than 2.5 years behind bars in the prison, Baikala prison. Why was that? Because it was an example created by the BJP government for all others who were opposing the government or were in the opposition to be on the defensive. Now, the same thing playing out now. There might be many people politically attacking Shiv Sena just ahead of the municipal polls, making controversial statements, speaking on social media, maybe delivering speeches or saying some wild things and all of that. The government always thinks that you need to make an example of somebody and make it high-profile case, a very high-profile thing in the media, so that the message goes to everybody that look, this can happen to you if you don't observe your limits. I think that's what has happened in case of Narayan Rane today. The arrest doesn't mean anything beyond 1 or 2 days spending at the police station. He'll get bail, obviously, and he'll be out, and the case will linger on for many years in the court. That apart. The second thing I want to highlight here is the strong arm tactic that Shiv Sena is getting into. The message to their own cadre, Shiv Sena has always lived on this aggressive, attacking kind of a culture throughout. And whenever there is Mumbai municipal election or Nasik or Pune municipal election, which is going to happen in February this year, next year, 2022, they want to be at their best. They want to be in overdrive. So charging up their cadre, the cynics, being out on the street, showing them one enemy that they can identify with, and then charging them and starting the campaign. That is what is playing out. The last thing that I can say is, this is going to be a very bloody kind of course, I'm saying figuratively, not literally, but bloody kind of a political war that's going to follow in the few months. Because remember, Center is watching this very carefully. Today, former Union Minister described this as a situation very similar to Bengal. And you can, expect that the central agencies and the machinery there will start pushing against the Maharashtra government soon. And maybe you will see some fallout of that in the coming weeks or months. Some arrests happening, some raids happening, or whatever. You will see a battle, political battle kind of situation in Mumbai and Maharashtra. That's how it plays out. And I think, suddenly since today morning, entire atmosphere got charged up. And that's what the Shiv Sena is going to thrive on, Tanvi.
Yes, actually, you made a very interesting point, and I think that's what is going to happen from here on in the coming days. Preparation for elections in many parts of Maharashtra, and Shiv Sena, going back to what they know the best to say, okay, this is the way we can still fight our elections. Let's wait and watch how it pans out. Narayan Rane's urgent plea in the court wasn't heard today, will probably come up for hearing tomorrow morning, and one would expect that very soon he will be out. But it's the messaging, it's the action of using state police to arrest a union minister who has commented on a sitting chief minister. That's politics. It's the grand announcement and constant updates of police movement, team going from one to the other, the arrest. It's the recording of the visuals by both parties and putting those out to give you the sense of the drama. And the unfortunate, really, Shiv Sena may think it's a great way to win elections, but it is unfortunate that even in 2021, parties have to resort to this kind of hooliganism on streets, vandalism, trashing each other, pelting stones at each other, destroying public property to express themselves. It's unfortunate this continues to be part of the culture. Thank you for joining us on this conversation.